share with you some of our sort of experiences and insights that we have gone through. When we look at financial literacy and this whole challenge of proliferation of pension products, I think it is about creating, the whole ecosystem. And when we talk of ecosystem, we are of course talking of the customer, the manufacturer, we're talking of the distributor, and we're talking of every constituent that is involved in the ecosystem. If the ecosystem talks of mandated products like, Mr. Puri spoke about earlier, then I think a mass level awareness really makes a difference, because it just makes it that much more simple. So like we have the example of Aadhaar or PMJDY, which was, which had a high decibel campaign, which was sort of mandated. We found that the amount of pull that it creates really takes care of this point of intermediation. But when we don't have to, when there isn't any mandated system, and then you are really depending on creating a pull for the product, as is the case with pension products, I think the need for, education really goes up several fold. And when we talk of education, it is not only the education that is required for the customer. Finally, the customer education is going to happen through the intermediary, right? And I think the challenge that intermediaries face is that in the first instance, we have to first educate the staff of the intermediary itself in order to then impart the education onto the customer. In that context, I think if you really look at how we as a bank have dealt with this issue, we of course do the first part of educating the staff and continually engaging with them in order to educate them. But our challenge is that we deal with multiple products, as all of you know, and for us, while training is important and training is an ongoing exercise, we have to keep doing it for all the products. So for us, this product, which is, let's say, pension in this case, is really one of the many products that we have the branch staff to deal with. So the approach we take is twofold. One is, of course, the branch staff approach, where you have walk-ins which happen, and the branch staff talks to them about several products, including, let's say, pension in this case. But what has really worked for us is an approach of a multi-channel approach. So I think what we have done well, and which of course, with I think PFRD has been highly supportive of whatever we've done in terms of technology initiatives. But what we have done is we've tried to expose products across all channels. And if you really look at, I think this point which was made earlier on awareness, where it matters is that the continued effort in terms of creating awareness in the media and other channels, and the area of generating interest in the minds of consumers really comes to fore, where they themselves go and opt in for these products as far as they are available on multiple channels. So what we found is that products like NPS and APY, the acceptance of customers has really risen in the past few quarters, past couple of years. And I think we really see a large uptick now, which is happening on digital channels itself. The other thing I think which Mr. Mishra spoke about, and I think we've already practiced it and we are starting to see some success, is really targeted marketing. So rather than pushing, or rather exposing all products to everybody, what we do, and I think it works well for us, is that we follow a process of actually exposing only those products that we think are relevant for that segment, right? So there is enough data I think the benefit for us, of course, is by the virtue of being a bank, there is enough data that is available to us, which tells us what product could be could incite interest from a customer. So instead of exposing all products to everybody, we really decide which products should be exposed to what segments. There is enough analytics that are present in the bank with which we create micro segments. We know which micro segments come to us on which channels. So depending on which customers we see coming on which channels is how we expose different products to those customers. And I think a part of probably our success that we've seen over the last year or so has been this ability of creating micro segments and exposing them across channels in order to offer only the relevant products to customers. And I think that's the area in which we think we will continue working. The other thing which is important is, of course, ease of execution. And that's where I think PFRD has been very, very forthcoming in terms of some of the initiatives that we wanted to take. We've gone back to PFRDA and, I think they've been forthcoming in terms of working and supporting us in terms of providing ease of execution. I think, again, Mr. Mishra spoke about Aadhaar-based. That's another area where we're working on in terms of, because there is Aadhaar, there are biometric devices that have been made available across branches. The data gets pre-populated. It's just the ease and the convenience which gets provided that makes penetration that much more easier rather than having the same form filling approach which used to get applied in the past. The other thing I think which we do, again, which works is product bundling, because again, when I talk of the branch staff which has to deal with multiple products, the engagement which a branch staff has to do when a customer walks in is that much more onerous if he has to do a product by product engagement. However, if the product, if the engagement becomes an engagement which enables the branch staff to talk about 2-3 products together, it just becomes an easier engagement to do. So I think there has been immense amount of focus we've put in terms of bundling products, and which is where I think there is an opportunity for us to really bundle pension products along with our other core products which can help us drive this penetration further. So, so I think these are some of the things I just thought we'll share. I'll share in the context of what we've done. Like I said, it's a practitioner's view. I personally think this is an area where we will keep investing in terms of, like I said, educating our staff, because I think that's important for us to finally educate the customer on an ongoing basis. And, we look forward to working closely with PFRDA in terms of building in this area. So.